Hello friends and welcome to episode 221 of the Noclip Crewcast. We got a full crew. We're all here again to talk about the video games. Some of these games are new, like inZOI and Spilled. Some of these games are not new, like Need for Speed Hot Pursuit and Picross. But that's why you're here, you sickos. You're here to not... Who cares about video game news? The news is bad. It just makes you sad. So come to us and we'll fill your ears with delicious happy gubbins. Speaking of happy gubbins, Jeremy Jane, how you doing, sir? Your background for the YouTube people is slightly different. What's going on there? Are you in the Severance office? What's happening?
I'm filming from a liminal office space. I moved across the country and my mic stand has not arrived, so I'm also using... I can't move my camera because there are addresses and sensitive documents in this family office that I'm in.
Okay.
But I am currently for a mic stand using a package full of books with an upturned sauce pot, and then on top of the upturned sauce pot, because I just needed a little more, is a Scarlett 2i2 audio interface.
Oh wow, you're using it. Is that the one you're plugged into?
I'm not. It is totally unused and unpowered. It is pure. It's a shitty, audio interface. Honestly, this is the best use for it.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, it does tend to give quite a lot of electrostatic bleed into the lines, it's one job. It's remarkable how dodgy that thing can be sometimes. Jesse Grasha, how are you? What is your microphone stand currently balanced on? Can you beat Sauce Pot?
No, I got nothing. It's on my desk. I spent too much money on a branded piece of metal that holds it up. Although previously I did have it on a bunch of university textbooks, so the $1,000 I spent was kind of worth it.
Oh, nice. That was your university education. Do you have to pay for education in Canada, or is it free? Or
yeah,
is it free
costs a lot of money. You can get a grant if you feel like it, but also you can pay for it with the roll up the rim bits. Ah, damn it, I'm making a cultural reference you wouldn't get.
Roll up the rim. Excuse
now I have
me,
to
sir.
Is that a weed thing?
How dare you? It's a family podcast.
Dude, I roll up the rim sometimes.
Yeah, that's the cool version. We do have legal weed up here. You could do this. Okay, roll up the rim. It's Tim Hortons, the coffee chain, the Dunkin' Donuts of Canada.
Yes.
The coffee cups, the paper ones. I think twice every year they have an event called Roll Up the Rim. They've had it since I was a kid. You roll up the rim of the coffee cup, and in that rim, there's you can win something. Usually you don't, but you can win like a donut or a coffee or a car or $75,000. So that's like a fun Canadian thing everyone knows.
Wow, roll up the rim. I like it. It's like the inside of the chocolate bar or something like that. I think that's what we used to have. Inside of an ice cream, maybe.
Did you live in
wrapper?
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? What?
I was going to say, does anyone roll up the rim and they get the entire Tim Hortons factory?
You have to meet Mr. Tim Horton and he almost murders your family in the glass
elevator. Is that why
elevator?
that lady did that poop in that Tim Hortons one time? Remember that viral video of the lady taking a dump? Frank's
that's not viral. See, for you guys, that's viral. For me, that's a Tuesday.
No. Right, yeah. I mean, I live near San Francisco, so yeah.
So I guess,
point.
yours isn't Tim Hortons. Yours is every business.
Frank, where's the best place you've seen someone take a dump?
Oh, man. I was trying to think, I've probably seen someone do it on stage somewhere.
Wow. Okay.
I saw a lot of, fluid being exchanged at a Bloodhound Gang show, 20 years ago.
Yeah. Was that when the drummer was still like a 12-year-old boy?
No, yeah, what the hell? Spanky G or something? Yeah, they had a kid in the band. For
his brother, wasn't it? It was the singer's brother, I think. Something like that.
Oh, God. And then the whole reason the band ended is because Jared Hasselhoff put the Russian flag in his pants while performing in Russia. And so Putin's people had them branded as terrorists, and they had to be ejected from the country.
Wow.
And then they broke up because of that. So
right, because all their money was all the Russian fans. That was the one market the Bloodhound Gang was still...
yeah.
We'll still get them and Alien Ant Farm. Remember that rumor of Alien Ant Farm? I think it was true, but it was also a rumor. Things can be true in rumors. It was Alien Ant Farm's bus crashed in Spain or something. It was on a tour bus thing. Do you remember that?
No.
Nobody
I thought
cares?
you said their butt crashed in Spain.
Their butt crashed? No, that was Bloodhound.
That was the rumor. And then it was like a game of telephone where people didn't hear it right.
I like Alien Ant Farm. They had two good songs, and one of them was a Michael Jackson cover, but hell, they were good time. Oh, also, I hear that they're taking Wish, the very good Alien Ant Farm song that is in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, I believe, Frank. I believe it's not making the cut. Did you read that? That they've changed the soundtrack a little bit, and some of the songs aren't going to be there. If Del the Funky Homo Sapiens is not in my Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4, I'm out.
I agree. Can we clarify the name Alien Ant Farm? Is it an ant farm, like a small ant farm that a human would have full of aliens? Or are we the ants and the aliens are observing us?
That must be it. We're the alien. We're just, all we are is an alien ant farm.
Yeah.
That's true. Sorry, I directed that question to Frank, but he's
Googling.
No,
he's such a journalist that he's immediately just...
Del the Funky Homo Sapiens not into it. There's only there's only about 12 songs returning, and then a bunch of new songs. But yeah, that one's not in there. But like, yeah, Amoeba by Adolescence is in there. They would have not released the game if they didn't get the CKY song in there, so that's in there.
Well, they weren't putting BAM in it, so
yeah. Well, then now they are. So and then Ace of Spades is the other, like, I feel like core Tony Hawk 3 song that is going in there.
But you're telling me Wish by Alien Ant Farm
is not
that one?
No.
Can you give us a few bars of Wish for Alien Ant Farm?
The intro is like, I don't know what he says, but it's like, no, that though, they do, yeah, and it's make a wish, make a second dash, wish, you, that one. Yeah, you know that one. That's a good time, man.
That's a banger.
That's a good time. And Del the Funky Homo Sapien, I sung that on the podcast weeks ago. Remember, you got to wash your ass if you must. That's good.
He has a song that's all about Dreamcast games. It's called
Del the Funky Homo Sapien?
Protoculture. He's talking about like Darkstalkers and like buying strategy guides to play JRPGs. It's like the most niche song, and it was recorded in the 90s, and it's like, this is insane.
Wasn't he in like a Gorillaz track as well?
Yeah.
Wasn't he?
Yeah, he's on Clint Eastwood, isn't he?
He is, right. Yeah. Shit. What a guy. He had a hot year there. Like a hot 24 months. And then he disappeared off the face of the earth. Probably not. He's probably around somewhere doing
that makes sense considering his most famous concept album is about the year 3030 and like aliens and spaceships and shit traveling the galaxy. So I assume that's what he's been up to.
Maybe him and Alien Ant Farm were both kicked off because of their like alien conspiracy shit. Maybe like Tony Hawk has he's like a real fucking creationist or really believes in the sanctity of science. And he's like, you got to keep that shit out of here.
Or he's like an alien truther, and he's like, I don't like when you make light of this shit because it's a serious issue.
That makes a lot more sense, actually. That's definitely what it is. Next time I interview Tony Hawk, I'll have to ask him about that. And I'll ask him about all of the incredible Battle Pass holders we have here. That might be the worst segue imaginable.
I like that.
Thank you. Including a couple of new names. Shout out to Dwayne the Rock Lobster, Anthony Thomas, Nico Passaderi, It's Me Ferrario, Penelope Hayes, Senator Armstrong, Harry Flanagan, Juice, Arno, Jose R., or maybe Jose R. Let us know if you're Brazilian or Portuguese. Matt Pearson, James Brown, Mark Rojas, Tucker Morgan, David McGarry, Sven Huster, Pez, John Akers, Ewan's Nate, Tim Robinson, whose name in the Patreon is upside down. It catches me every time. I don't know how people do that. They flip their letters. Freaks me out. Hackers, Forrest Pruitt, also a hacker, Jonathan Kremen, Eric Hamilton Schneider, Christophe Fetui, Cameron Ladd, Zachary Snader, Alex Goucher, George Sakotis, Jacob Godserve, Entheogen, James Med, Tohir Tiliev, and Ryson. Thank you to them and all of the people over at patreon.com/noclip that help us tell stories like the story of Dwarf Fortress and our upcoming Disco Elysium documentary and so much more. We are an independent group of internet freaks. Please help us pay for our rent and our internet freak tools over at patreon.com/noclip. And also for this beautiful podcast. Hurrah. You get bonus podcasts and loads more. Okay, let's talk about, we got some video games to talk about. But first of all, Jeremy, I'm guessing you haven't played many video games. What with your transcontinental move? What's going on? What's going on over on the East Coast?
Not a lot. Yeah, I over the last few weeks have been painstakingly and laboriously moving all of my possessions. Well, I shouldn't say all of my possessions. I threw away a ton of shit, and I gave my bicycle to the junk removal guy. So
nice.
And I gave him a copy of The Last of Us. I was like, "This is either going in the trash or you're taking it."
Wow.
And he was like, "I can't."
Statement.
I like the first Last of Us, but it's like, the cut had to be made somewhere. All right, that was the line. That was the highest quality item in the trash.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, I there was a bit of a change in, like, before the last several years of, post-COVID living, my role in Noclip was sort of like smaller and more part-time, and I sort of like rotated around other clients and stuff. And then over the last several years, it became sort of like my only employment thing. And basically, like, moving forward, we're sort of trying to like hone in and focus and do the important docs and the important work and stuff, but and prioritize that over creating, like making up work so that everyone has enough like work to do or whatever.
Yeah,
and
we're kind of doing fewer at the moment. There was a lot of shit going on the past few years. We were throwing a lot of things out there.
Yeah,
and some of it stuck, and some of it didn't.
And also, Danny, to your credit, Danny has been working like insanely fucking hard. Like an inhuman amount of work has been done, and an inhuman amount of travel. And it's just like, it's not really like a sustainable cadence. Like, I don't want to see you implode from work. So anyway, it was sort of like, do I continue to live in California and pay a shit ton of money for, like basically just to be there and be where I had been for a while? Or do I kind of like shake it up and try something new? So, and the other thing was that like game dev has become an increasingly more important part of my life over the last 4 years or so. And so it was like, do I want to basically cut my cost of living or chase down a bunch of new video clients and kind of like fill the gap to make California rent and stuff that way? And so I was like, I think I would rather like be a little less conventional and like move somewhere a little cheaper and kind of make space for game dev and live a little scrappier and kind of like, it's like, do I want to fucking call up Microsoft and be like, hey, can I film the commercial where the guy's like, this tablet can do so many things?
We'll pay you in 9 months once you've finished the job.
Yeah, they also, Google was the one that took fucking forever to pay me. But anyway, so I moved back to Massachusetts, back to Boston area where I grew up, and I'm working on a little secret project that I'm not going to reveal yet, but it basically is sort of like I'll tease it this way. I'm working on a very unconventional mode of living that will sort of take my like primitivist, like I could sleep on the fucking floor in a garage and be happy. Like, I've been paying California rent for a level of comfort that is so unnecessary for me. And so I'm working on figuring out how to be the Henry David Thoreau of making video games.
Yeah, focus on like game dev stuff. That isn't to say that you're not doing any Noclip work in the future. Just
of course,
in case people are. But and hey, it also opens up opportunities for filming on the East Coast all over again, which is I could have used you in Boston when I was there filming the Cyberpunk stuff last year.
I know. I was gonna say they've got what are they called? Molasses flood because of the Boston.
Yes, yeah, flood? Exactly. Yeah.
So currently, it's going to take me a few months to spin up the weird secret project, which I'll talk about more in the near future. But for now, I am staying with family, hence the weird liminal office space that I'm in right now. But it's been good. Yeah, moving fucking sucks, man. But it's good to be here. And like, my family are out here. Like, a bunch of my friends are out here. It's like, it feels good to be back, even though California has been my home for 12 years. So yeah, it's cool. I'm looking forward to settling in here and trying something new. And if I make a hit indie game, if I make an indie game that makes $35 billion, maybe I'll move back to California someday.
That's what I'm looking forward to. It's in a couple of years' time when we're doing the bittersweet driving you to the airport last week. I was driving back thinking, in a few years' time, it'll be like people will talk about that Jeremy Jane guy who used to be on Noclip, who now lives beside Notch on a beautiful, and he's turned right wing. Weirdly, he's kind of making all these broad claims. Now Jesse's saying, "Cut it." No.
Yeah, no. Once they give you all the money, that's when the no. Anyway, yeah, no. So it'll be cool. I think the other thing I think that is important about it is like, the point of living cheaply and unconventionally to save money is not just to make room for game dev, because money is time, and time towards work to pay rent, all these things. It's like this cycle. The other thing is that like, I don't want to think about making games as this thing where I'm checking market analytics and I'm like, okay, this is the median earnings for this genre. And so like if I, in 2 years, maybe this genre will be hot. Like I don't want to fucking game the system. I want to make the reason I got into making games is because there were types of games that do not exist that I want to make, that I want to see exist, and I want to make them. So like I want to do it for that reason. And so I think lessening the financial pressure allows me a level of sort of creative freedom and malleability that like I can try something and it doesn't need to be a smash hit. I don't need to release a hit indie game every year to pay my rent or whatever. So yeah, we'll see how it goes, and I'll keep you guys posted on the weird plan.
Yeah, it's been amazing watching you for the last couple of years, like really, mature into this, like the stuff that you're doing that you haven't showed people. I know on Jane Dev we showed a bunch of the projects you're working on, but I know you've got like some pretty big ideas, and you're pouring so much of your like free time and energy and passion into us that I can see how becoming like the amount of like edit and also like just the amount of editing takes, like it takes so much of your day to day. Like all I've been thinking about for the past 4 weeks is the Dwarf Fortress edit. Like I'll be, on a drive or in bed or whatever, just like going, oh no, I should do that. And I'll write it down on my phone. It's like all encompassing. And it's hard to have two of those. Like it's hard to have two things that you like have to dedicate. And you've done an amazing job over the past few years of doing so many of the edits for Noclip. Like we changed from a you film everything, I edit everything, into a we edit everything together, or you do stuff solo, like the dust stuff, or we do side by side. Like you've been working on a secret project while I've been doing the Dwarf Fortress one solo. So it's been amazing. But yeah, we just have it's a mixture of funding and time. Like time is the big thing. You can't, editing videos takes so much time, and when I'm the one who sort of is responsible for finishing a lot of our things and for sort of getting them prepped to go live and all that stuff, it creates a bit of a logjam, which we've been dealing with for the past couple of the past year or so, at least, for sure. So yeah, I'm excited to see what comes of you being able to sort of dedicate so much more of your time to this. And yeah, I think it's a fun project that once you're ready to share with people will want to follow along with. I think it's going to be pretty cool.
I'm excited about it. And the last thing I'll say about it, and this ties into moving, is that this doing this like non-game dev pursuit to like figure out how to live like a fucking weirdo has been, I think, a very good thing in a weird way for inspiration for game dev, because there's this, one of the most inspiring figures for me in game dev history is Will Wright, specifically in the late 90s, early 2000s. Because a lot of Will Wright's inspiration at the time, like for The Sims, for example, his house in the hills of the East Bay, I think in the Oakland Hills, burned down. And so he had to get software to interior design and design the new house. When he was doing it, he looked into the analytics on like how many people were buying house design software. And basically like the number of people who were buying home design software was like an order of magnitude larger than the number of people who were designing new homes. So he was like, oh, there's like this gap of people who just like find it aesthetically and intuitively fun to like design homes or whatever. And so The Sims started as a game called Dollhouse, where you just like design a house. Like there weren't even, the simulation of the people was sort of secondary at first. And I think that there's something very like novel and interesting about game ideas that grow out of non-game things. Or like the origin of Zelda is like Miyamoto wandering around fucking caves in rural Japan in the countryside. And, and so doing this process and like moving and just like doing all of these things in my life that are not oriented around video games, I think has given me a lot of inspiration for video games in a bizarre way, to the extent that like I had my truck shipped out here, and the driver for the truck that carried my truck was like, I think he was like Azerbaijani. He didn't speak any English basically at all. But like, except for like a few scattered words. And while I was trying to communicate with him in these 2 meetings we had, it was like,
these are high stress meetings, because you're giving your car to this person.
Yeah, and also trying to find the payment method changed at the last minute. I had to find like $1,200 in the middle of the night on Saturday, where it's like, where do you get $1,200 at fucking 10 at night? So but trying to communicate with this guy and having such a limited vocabulary and trying to figure out like, oh, okay, like here's a word he knows. How can I build off of that and find like another word he knows and bridge like he's like how you get, and I'm like me bicycle and you car, like, and like building these little linguistic bridges. It planted seeds of an idea for like how to gamify sort of the feeling of trying to communicate without having a common lexicon. Right. And I think that like Jesse said it really well. We were chatting about this the other day, that like there are so many experiences in ordinary life that are like gamey and tactile and interesting and engaging and interactive that we don't think of as games. Yeah. And so, yeah, part of this whole endeavor is trying to engage with a lot of non-gamey things with the express purpose of drawing inspiration from them.
Love to see it. Keep your eyes and ears tuned, folks, to the wonderful world of Jeremy Jane. There you go. I've named it for you. The wonderful world of Jeremy Jane. I'll take that segue if you don't mind. I'll pick up that Will Wright thing so we can talk about inZOI. inZOI. Who knows anything about inZOI?
I know a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about it
like
before.
It's a Sims-like, which is now a genre. I think, has there ever been, like, what's another Sims-like that's not
question.
The Sims?
I don't know. Is this the only other one?
Unless you count the herbs.
Yeah, that's my boy. That's my boy.
That's the Sims,
that was made by Sid. That was just a spin-off. That was the
count.
urban spin-off. Jesus Christ.
And it had all the people of color on the box. What's that about?
Well, we don't put them in the
spin-off.
Sims, so we got to put them in this one instead. We'll make our own little, it's like a video game ghetto. We'll just put them all in there.
Yeah. That's what it was.
Sell that on PlayStation.
But it worked because it had Black Eyed Peas doing Sim songs, which is really, that was worth it, I think.
Wait, they were singing in Simlish?
I'm pretty sure. Like they have a bunch of songs in the herbs that are, Simlish.
That sounds racist. I don't know why.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
Because
it's
like linguistically otherizing.
Yes.
It's like, you know what I mean?
No, they had a lot of musicians singing songs in the series in Simlish. Like they have Fun, the band that did like We Are Young 14 years ago and ruined music forever. They sing a song in Simlish. Like there's a bunch of bands. Yeah.
It does sound, it's just that the Sims don't have, they're a fake species, a race of people, so they don't have rights. But otherwise I'd be like, yeah, that's a bit rich, isn't it? It's like putting on an accent when you're singing. It's like,
suppose, yeah.
It's like, isn't it? Oh, I guess that's what, what's his face? That's what Taylor Swift did for the first 2 albums.
I thought you were going to say Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day.
Wait, does he put on a fake accent?
Well, he does that like sort of pseudo
Welcome to
British.
the new coronation.
Yeah, and then you hear him talk, and he's
right.
like, my name is Billy, and I talk like this, and then he's like,
you're right.
I'm on a soul. He doesn't do like a Paul McCartney.
That was Paul McCartney, yeah. Oh, that was really good.
Amazing. Well, that's not what this is. Although they do speak a version, they do speak some weird that I'm pretty sure is
Korean,
not Korean. I don't hope it's not Korean.
I think it's called Simlish. It sounds very Simlish adjacent.
I don't know what this game is. I do and I don't. So it came out in early access inZOI. It's made by Krafton, so it's got a lot of money behind it. They're doing some AI stuff in here as well.
Is this part of the PUBG universe also?
I don't know if it is part of the PUBG universe.
You'll have to find out.
That's a good point. This and PUBG and Dinkum, I guess, are the Krafton specials. So it's okay. So this is a Sims style game. You create a ZOI. ZOI is the name of like the person. You can create a family of ZOI. I don't know what the plural of ZOI is. I'm guessing ZOI and not ZOIs. We're gonna go with that. We can create a family of them. They can be children. They can be old people. It has a very detailed character creator thing. And then so the framing device of this game is fucking bamboozling because it appears, and I might be wrong, and I'm not willing to look this up. And I know I'm supposed to be like a games journalist who researches their things, but I'm having so much fun not knowing that I think it's better if you all go on this sort of nightmare of mystery with me. It appears that the inZOI game world is a simulation that is run by a company run by magical cats. Okay?
All right.
So the start of the game, your magical cat brings you, like your magical cat boss allows you access to the inZOI office space in this like cutscene. You sit down at a computer and they kind of hang out there, right? And then you make a Zoi and you go into this world. Why you're doing it, I don't know. But there appears to be a sort of a level of currency that is in the game that is akin to like cat wishes or something like that. I really don't know. So most of the time, you're just kind of playing a Sims game, but like an early access Sims game that has a lot of functionality, but maybe not that much game in it. Like there's lots of stuff. Like it's the stuff that's in there is like super detailed. Like the character creator is really detailed. The house making part of it is very, very detailed. You can like create different types of houses and rooms and current furniture and all that sort of stuff. It's really well done. This is where some of the AI stuff comes in here. And I'm interested in what you guys think of this, because I don't necessarily, this to me falls in line with like, I don't care. I don't think this is stealing anyone's direct wealth, but it is still part of the original AI sin of we have trained a bunch of this shit on people's work that didn't get paid for. But like you can type in like poop wallpaper into the game and it will make poop wallpaper. So it's basically the one use case I'm kind of okay with AI with is making bad shit. Like literally, but like like you can have somebody just wear like a dress and then you can say, make this dress have the texture of, or to look like meat. Like it'll just do that. Like, so presumably you can use it to make really beautiful, nice things, but also you can troll the game and make terrible things as well if you want. So anyway, we'll leave that to one side for the moment. The game is very much reminds me of what the week we spend in Seoul, Frank, where it is sort of you are doing all the things that you're meant to do in life. When you start, you have to get a job. So you go get a job. You talk to people, you build friendship groups, you have your phone with you all the time. You have a schedule that lets you know when you've got hangouts with people, when you date people. When you date people, it I don't know how the conversation thing works in this. This could all be AI as well. I have no idea. I don't necessarily think so, but like it creates bubbles that you can sort of, when you're talking to people, like all these little bubbles that you can sort of like click on, and like some of them are recommend street food, which would mean you go get food. This is you're having a conversation with somebody. Ask about marital status. Talk about your inflexible stubbornness. Talk about how you control anger. Share a pizza recipe. They all seem just completely random. I think there's like a menu you can go to and be more specific, but they just give these to you. Say you feel alone in the universe. Discuss the stock prospects of the K-pop and entertainment industries.
Speak positively of the Samsung brand.
Exactly.
Like there's something going on here in this game. There's a theme.
Give a heartfelt hug, or say life's best teacher is death.
Holy shit, that's your opener, is you meet a stranger on the street and they're like, hey, how's it going? You're like, I feel that life's best teacher is death.
I just kept taking screenshots because every time it would just make me laugh. Discuss hairstyles. Discuss the future of cryptocurrency. Suspect that your life is under surveillance. Like it's just, it's very, very strange. And then, so, I'm playing this game. I've had some fun moments in it. I got a job at a surf shop. It was very easy to get the job. I just applied on my phone and I got the job. So somebody had just been fired. I was so panicked that I would miss or mess up my first day of work that I went to bed like super early, like way too early. And then I woke up and had like a snack and it was like 4 a.m. and I had like 4 hours until... So I kind of like just fast forward the time. I had him watch little pop-ups come up like, oh, he wants to watch like a fitness video. So you like The Sims, and you go on the television and go to the fitness channel, and then he's happy and he gets points and he levels up and everyone's life goes on. And then I was like, oh, I better go to work early just in case. So I took the bus to work. You can open up the mini map and just say go here, or you can. Here's the thing about this game is you literally control the character. It's a Sims game where you can click on the ground and say go here, or click on the microwave and say make food, or you can just straight up wasad mouse and keyboard this person around the world, which is quite different. So I went to work and it's like an hour before work, and then I realized like, oh, I ate last at like 4 a.m. Like I'm super hungry, and he's like curling over with hunger, and I'm like, oh shit, I messed this up. So I ran around to like all the cafes that were on the map, and they were all closed until 8 a.m., which is when my shift started. So I panicked and I had to take the bus back home to get like a fucking bibimbap or something. This game is constantly reminding you it's made in Korea, which is great. And I ate this food, and then by the time it microwaved, and the fucking idiot I was like, just get it, grab and go. He like sat down at his fucking kitchen table and starts eating this thing with a knife and fork, and then he runs out the door. I'm like 20 minutes late for work, and I'm like panicking. And I go into work. I do the first 5 hours of my shift in my regular clothes. I never told them to get dressed into their work clothes. I didn't know that was an option. And then there's all these things like clean the tables, restock the shelves, and you do all this and you get points and stuff like that.
So you have to click through the work. Like it's not just a simulated. Your character's going around. Like you have to.
No, you're still controlling this person.
Okay.
So you can just run out the door if you want. I don't know if you get fired, or you can just talk to customers and flirt with them. You can flirt with your boss. You can not do any of the work. I tried to start a fight with a cop one time. I just kept abusing him, and he, this wasn't America, so he didn't immediately beat me up. You clean the desks and you get all these things. You got to wash the toilet and do all these things and work, and then you leave and you get paid and you go home. So it's like somebody said this is like Sims. Somebody in my reply said this is Sims for people who love being on LinkedIn. Like it's
wow, brutal.
It's like this sort of. Do you remember, Frank, when we were in Seoul? There was like there was this. Our hotel was in like a mall, right? And do you remember they kept having like talent competitions? Do you remember?
Yeah, like there's like singing, and I feel like people also playing instruments, like just like this open, like the mall was like 5 stories, but at every level you could look down to the center, and there was always something happening. There was like
Yeah, they had like a talent competition. Maybe it was a dating one, maybe, where like but like women were like recording videos for like a dating app or so. I don't know. I don't know what it was, but it was like the idea of like public entertainments was like, oh yeah, of course. Like this is sort of like medieval in some ways, but it's kind of cool that they have this place that they do this stuff in. So there's that thing in this as well, where like everything is regimented in this world. And it feels very like, I don't know, it reminds me a lot of when we were in Korea, where like everything is very organized, and you got to make sure you have friends, because to be a good citizen, you should have friends, and you should eat well and go to the gym. And it's just responsibility of the game. So for me as a sicko, I'm instantly sort of repelled by it. But yeah, like it was very easy to find a girlfriend. I just clicked all the buttons that said the nice things and stopped telling her about how I think the biggest teacher in life is death, and didn't talk to her about cryptocurrency. Or maybe I should have talked more. I'm not sure actually which way it goes in this game. And then I stumbled upon this menu, and this just instantly brought back the fear in my head, where I was like, I don't know what this game is. There was a pop-up that said, check your soul management report. I was like,
and now this is SOUL, not Seoul as in Korea.
Okay.
Because we've been talking about Korea so much, that's where my brain went.
You're right. Yeah, sorry. No, this is SOUL.
Okay.
Your soul management report. And so I went, and it brought me to my soul dashboard, which had a bunch of graphs on it, which already is sort of like a They Live style moment, where you're like, I shouldn't be seeing graphs with the word soul on it. Like that just... spirituality and sort of Microsoft Excel should not exist in the same, quantifying soul seems weird. And then there's a little drop down, and one of them has karma status. So I click on karma status. Every person I've talked to in this game, including the cop I was abusive to, their karmic status is like listed in this thing. I don't know why, but there it is. And then there's another icon that has like it says souls, and the icon is like a little ghost man, like going ooh. What? And I click on that, and it has even more details about all these peoples and their souls. So I just like I don't know what this like is. This game just like a Sims game, or is there some like I don't know what's going on.
When you're 50 hours in, it's going to turn into something else. Like,
why is it a simulation run by cats? Why am I checking in on people's karma and their souls? Is this just how Koreans think about citizenship? I don't know. I'm just like completely bamboozled by it.
Okay, now I have a question about the karmic system. So,
okay,
if it is evaluating the people you're interacting with, and they're a piece of shit, and then you are a piece of shit to them, is that Are you you know what I mean? Like, are you the avatar of karmic retribution in this world? Because that'd be pretty cool.
That would be great if it was like a sort of a black and white situation, but I'm the god walking among them.
Yeah,
like
among some sort of alien ant farm, you might say.
Exactly. Yes, God.
It all comes back. It all comes back.
Right. You're totally right. Is it ethical AI if we're using it within, if there's a narrative justification for it because this is a simulation run by cats? The answer is probably no. Yeah, you may be giving the game too much credit. I don't know. I don't know if this is something that I've just, I don't know the reason why this would be there. It didn't seem to be like, oh, and you can just like check in on like your buddies, how good they're feeling. It didn't have that vibe. It had a very sort of different vibe to it. But I don't know. I really don't. The game seems to be like a good sandbox at the moment, I would say, for just like doing dorky things. I don't really take it seriously. I'm not sure if, like, outside of just having a job, earning money and buying more stuff, I don't know what the, progression is. I guess if you have a family of people, you can bounce around between them and it's maybe a bit more dynamic because your Zois will go do their own thing if you're not with them. They'll oh, I need to go to the bathroom. They'll go to the bathroom. This kind of, you don't have to necessarily pilot them 24/7. So yeah, but it is early access as well. So who knows? It has 12,000 reviews on Steam already. Very positive. So clearly a lot of people are playing this weird cat soul game.
Yeah, this game is blown up. I think that like sort of the appeal, because it's interesting how this game is sort of like The Sims, but The Sims is so sort of like micro, like it's like these little sort of like orthographic, isometric little toy boxes that you're going between dioramas, where this is this big open world. Like it's somewhere between The Sims and GTA Online roleplay.
Yeah.
And it is interesting how sort of the gameplay or like the thing that attracts people to games like this can just be sort of existing in the world and just poking and prodding at the systems and seeing, like, it's funny when there's Zois. Sorry, I was going to say Sims.
Yeah.
It's funny when your Zoe is like out, on a date and then he has to he shits his pants. Like that's, I wouldn't say that's gameplay, but it is very funny to just observe in the way that, you observe like an ant farm. I'm not doing a callback joke. That's just like what it is.
And so that's the thing that I'm not sure if this game is good at so far, which is that like The Sims at a certain level would kind of like fun in Dwarf Fortress, the way they talk about fun, which is like things going wrong. Like that's the point of Dwarf Fortress, is like a dwarf hits an aquifer and floods the mine, or a necromancer comes in and starts like raising all the dead dwarves back to life and attacking you. Like that's where when the systemic nature of the game pushes back, right? And The Sims did that too, where like, oh whoops, you've got a flood, like your toilet's flooding now and you have to figure that out, or a fire started because you left the pot too long on, or somebody died in a family, now a ghost is haunting your Sims. Like all that stuff was sort of the juice of the game, and this game is a lot more serious. So I don't know if it's pushing back in that way at all. Even when I turned up to work late, like nothing happened. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like, or the fact that I was wearing my uniform or my civvies instead of my uniform. Like the video game didn't push back or slap me on the wrist in any way. And again, it's early access, so it's hard to tell. But yeah, I think you're right. Like the joy of this game is the fact that there are sort of 3 cities that you can pick to go. I think one of them is loosely based on America, like Santa Monica Beach kind of thing. Another one is based on Seoul, I think. And then I forget what the third one is. I think it might be a bit more like a tropical island, perhaps, maybe. I don't know, Shanghai. I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, you do have that, but the game's not pushed back at me much. Like I found it very easy. Maybe it's because I created a very handsome character that like he's just got game, because I keep like getting dates. This is a picture of him. I'm not sure if you can see. His name is Garmouche Egglepeggle.
Damn,
it's a good name.
He's a handsome man. He's got some glasses. He kind of looks like he's like a handsome glasses man. Look at him.
Everyone knows
Strong
the handsome
nose.
glasses man, right, Frank?
Strong Greek nose.
me.
Yeah,
That's right, baby.
Frank, could you tell me about your inflexible stubbornness, please?
Let's see. Oh man, I get obsessed and hyperfixated on stuff, and yeah.
Do you want to play some inZOI?
I the $40 price tag. I looked like a free-to-play game.
It looked like a GTA 5 mod when I first saw it. I actually thought like, oh, they finally did it. They made a Sims in GTA 5, what everyone's been asking for.
It's the opposite of a free-to-play game. It's a $40 unfinished game, Frank.
It would, you know what? I would probably play it if it actually worked as a real, instead of like a dating app like Hinge or Tinder or whatever. If people made inZOIs and you had to like an MMO, I don't know. I feel like people do meet people on Final Fantasy and stuff. But if it was like, I don't know, because you talk about you make your avatars and you try to date each other and it's like, wait a minute, there's something here. You can gamify this.
That's a $1 billion idea.
Right?
Is that just Second Life without the selling drugs?
I guess if it was like expressly for meeting people, because Second Life, if you went up to a random person, and you were like, "So, do you want to like meet in real life?" I feel
Yeah,
like
you don't wanna-
they'd be
they
like,
all
"Get
want
the
that.
fuck
You don't
away."
want to engage with anyone who plays Second Life in 2025.
That's true.
Like,
It's a self-selecting crowd of
That's the
people to
Silk
avoid.
Road ass video game. You know, you got to be careful with that.
I wonder if they'd open this thing up a bit, because it does have this weird. This is, I mean, the one piece of tech that I do not understand sort of what's going on here necessarily, but it does have this. Have you heard about this 3D print thing it has? So you can do all the like texture by like giving it AI prompts or whatever. In the I've not touched any of that stuff, but there's this other thing where you can like either take a photograph or like upload a photograph of an object to the game, and it will like ingest it into the world. And like whatever ML thing they have working on the back will like give it a 3D model. So you can, I don't know, take a picture of like a vending machine or something, or like, you know, something, I don't know.
I can think of a million things that would
exactly. That's
very
the
lewd.
marketplace.
Do that with.
They better be moderating this.
Listen,
'cause
all I'm gonna say is that Scorn better watch out, because there's a competitor in town, and
dildo
it's
game in town,
weird
folks.
and veiny.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about this. Oh my God, you're right. I totally forgot about this. There is an option, because you're basically, I guess in some way you are the god of the world. I mean, you're playing a video game, but there are like town options that you can like fix different things. You can change different things, and one of them is cleanliness, and you can turn the cleanliness dial, which is at 100 when you start, which in fairness is kind of what it was like being in Korea. You can turn it down to 0, and the entire world is covered in like a layer of scum.
Oh my god,
Yeah, it's really weird. It's like brown everywhere.
that's so strange. Like from a game design perspective, that's very odd, because it's almost like the thing about The Sims is that as soon as you start fucking rosebudding and cheating in The Sims, it breaks the game, because you can just do whatever the fuck you want. The limitations are sort of what make The Sims a game, right?
Yeah.
It's like like you said, pushing up against those limitations and having the game push back against you. It seems like inZOI is very interested in being almost like more of a dollhouse or something, where it's like a world sim that you are allowed to run around and interact in, which is I don't know. I feel like it also expresses in the weird multitude of conversation options that you showed us the picture of. I feel like it's almost assaulting you with such a multitude of options, and it feels like that's more what they're going for, rather than giving you sort of this limited pool of options and letting you navigate the world and push up against these limitations. It's just like it's more about like expression and interaction rather than like gaminess.
I agree. It feels almost like something like BeamNG is to Forza. You know what I mean? Like this is way more of a sandbox than those games are. And I think that's what I was sort of trying to express with the whole, like, the game pushes back in The Sims. Like, it gives you those moments, you know what I mean? Like, oh, the goths are coming over, we better throw a dinner party, right? You know what I mean? Like, that type of thing. Whereas this seems so much more about, like, you can even just, like, I believe you can just put, like, you can build anywhere in the world as well if you want. So you could just, like, put a bed on a street corner and just live out of that bed, or you know, create multiple houses, or have multiple. At the moment, I think you could just have multiple jobs as well, and just kind of, I'm not sure how long it takes for them to fire you. There's literally a thing on the phone that's like, oh, this is how many like days you can call in sick before your boss starts, you know, wondering what's going on. So yeah, I don't know. It seems like a very strange, like they're giving the players everything they asked for situation. Whether or not that means that at the end it'll be a good game, I don't know. But it's definitely like for people who want to do the dollhouse thing and like simulate a life, like it's already doing a lot of that stuff. And yeah, I guess I am interested somewhat in ML applications that this might be doing outside of the generative stuff. I think the like, presumably making the entire world dirty is something that ML is doing, because they wouldn't have done alternative textures for absolutely every single thing with like a gradient of it. You know what I mean?
It could be a shader. Yeah,
It could
I don't
be
know.
a shader.
I'd have to see what it looks like.
Like if it was snow or what.
There's a bunch of ways you could do stuff like that. I mean, Assassin's Creed Shadows goes through different seasons and the environment changes. It's covered in snow. Like, was that one person placing snow all over the map?
No, that's like a shader, yeah.
Was that ML? It's... Yeah.
But I guess I'm saying it because it also has this like sort of weird, I mean, it's doing a lot of, we're all used to, texture stuff being done, like upscaling and things like that. Like it does a lot of the fuzzy sort of low res to high res sort of as you're moving the camera around, what do they call it in open world games, or when you look at something far away, there's
LOD.
like the low, like a LOD stuff, but it's like that. But I don't have the word for it. Is it DLSS or whatever it's called? Like the thing that where the textures are being generated. I'm showing. We need someone from Digital Foundry here to talk about this.
Yeah.
I bet they have a really good video on this. But it's doing a lot of that. Like it struggles every once in a while, and it's doing a lot of that. So it's definitely doing some interesting stuff, and it's got some very realistic babies. So if that's what you're into.
That is weird. This is a weird segue. This is not inspired by the baby comment. The fact that you can build anywhere and generate textures and objects from photos. I'm picturing like you could just build like a H.R. Giger flesh prison to imprison all the Zois in, and put them in
harvest their souls.
Yeah, put them in like a meat room and trap them in there as it pulsates in their prison.
How does that affect their karma?
Well, you could imprison only that you could have insight into the karmic nature of each Zoi, and you could choose and select which ones deserve to be imprisoned based on their actions.
See, who needs the game to be a game? You make your own game. It's like Dwarf Fortress.
That's what inZOI is. It sounds like that's the goal. Is they're making the AI version of a video game. Like it doesn't just look like it's AI generated. It from the way you're describing it, it's like whenever I see an AI demo for something, it's like we made the Skyrim NPCs. They'll answer to anything you say. It sounds like they made that and called it inZOI.
It does have
a bit of
that like, because that is sort of a hallmark of most things that are associated with AI and like creativity and tech, is that they in pursuit of this sort of utopian vision of infinite openness, they're sort of like losing touch with the fact that games are very much about limitation, and by like creating the illusion of infinite options, but giving the player, like Facade is a great example where it feels like you could say anything, but the characters will only respond to a limited number of things. It's a large number. It's an impressive like diversity of responses, but ultimately it's like by railroading the player onto these sort of invisible pathways, you're threading the needle between infinite openness and very sort of like linear pathways.
And without having those like limitations, without having that framework, you end up in a situation where like if you were talking to that Azerbaijani guy who delivered your truck and he could be like, yes, here's your car back. Like that's not half as fun as playing charades, trying to figure out how to describe what truck is. That's the video game. And the fake version is the one where you pull out Google Translate and just solve the problem that way. That's not half as fun.
Oh, we Google translated. It was limited effectiveness.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go. Even better.
Yeah, no, it is bizarre how this it's sort of like the non-game designer's idea of what the perfect game is, where they're like, what if Skyrim NPCs could respond to anything? And then in practice you see it and it's like, hey, what's up? And they're like, I am from a village where we grow corn. Corn is a crop that can be rendered into many other objects. And
what's
it's like,
rendering? Do you mean rendering like a 3D graphics card, or do you mean rendering
frustum
like...
culling is a technology? It's like, all right,
let me pull up this Digital Foundry video.
It's like, do you want to play a video game or do you want to read Wikipedia about corn?
So maybe it's because I'm like deep in the depths of a Dwarf Fortress documentary, but I do find this I find it very interesting. And this isn't me just playing devil's advocate, because I'm with you on Facade. Like Facade was almost like an exploration in what is the most limited version of this thing we can do, because that's basically just like two people talking in one room. That's all it is, right? And they try and give you all of this it's only speech, right? Because you can pick up all their weird little objects and throw it around the room and they don't say boo about it. But it was compelling in some way, because there was a box. There was some sort of box, and the box was this conversation and these people and this argument that they're having or whatever. And then I look at stuff like Dwarf Fortress, and that is like coming from, we had this in the first episode of the series. It was coming from this more systemic, more simulation based type of game design, where instead of creating a Dungeons and Dragons game that was very much about here's your character, here's the quest you're going on, here's the story, they sort of left that all off and just created a systemic world, and then from you interacting with it, you created your own story. I might be giving this game too much credit, and perhaps comparing it to Dwarf Fortress is maybe something unearned, but there is definitely some shared heritage or not heritage, some shared DNA here, in that at least at the moment this game feels to be like so sandboxy that it is more so. I imagine if people are into this game and enjoying this game and sharing stories about this game, it's going to be in the same way that Dwarf Fortress bursts outside of its sort of core gameplay, the people who play it group, out into the wider zeitgeist because people have done interesting things with it. Right? And that's by its design, but it's a hands-off design. And this is not dissimilar. It is a hands-off design. It's like, here is the sandbox, here's all the stuff. And you said, it does feel like it has that AI jank feel in lots of areas of it. And I do wonder if this was Crafton and whoever getting a bunch of investment into AI stuff, trying to push it pretty far and ending up here, like ending up back at, okay, we can make 3D print objects, we can do all these generative prompt shit, and maybe also the tech stuff, maybe the conversational stuff is in there as well, because ultimately the conversational stuff does not, like, you don't hear them say it. So, I'm just taking it for granted that I'm asking this lady about crypto. But so it's interesting. I'd love to learn more about it, and I'm interested to see where it goes, because I'm not sure how I feel about it, I guess is kind of. You're
saying like ML as a systemic, like using the systemic information to tell a story?
No. I'm just saying that like the game is a sandbox in the same way that like Minecraft is, and people make up their own fun. You know what I mean? They make their own fun from this, like Legos or like a dollhouse. And I do think there is an important distinction between like machine learning writ large, especially if we're able to produce like ML training that doesn't use a shitload of energy. It depends on what you're training it on and yada, 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 as opposed to the generative stuff, which is clearly like stealing from, like the field of robotics is something that I'm talking a lot about at the moment for a project, and that is definitely one in which there is ethical use of machine learning, because you're basically just using scientific data to produce to try and like teach robots how to do things. And I similarly wonder if, like in rendering, for instance, we don't boo when it comes to this sort of stuff, but we do with the generative stuff, because it's stealing work either from artists who produced work or possible future art from artists or voice actors or whatever. And I totally understand that. And I do think the Overton window is moving on that as well in a little bit, which is perhaps something we're going to have to worry about in the next few years, or maybe people already are. But I'm interested if this thing is doing anything. I don't necessarily think it is doing anything heavy ML on that aspect, but I wonder if they tried to do a bunch and then this is kind of where they ended up. I don't know. And it's early access, so maybe they're going to do more stuff. It's just a weird little thing, and there's a lot of people playing it, so I think it's gonna be an interesting sort of use case, I guess, for whatever this thing is. I still don't know what it is. I still don't understand why the souls are being talked about.
The other thing I wanted to say was that I think that when, perhaps this is overly credulous, but I think that this is accurate. I think when people see a utopian future in which you can talk to Skyrim NPCs, I think that it comes from a similar place of wanting open-ended sandboxy games like Dwarf Fortress, because like it is the promise like social interaction is a particularly hard thing to have be systemic. That's why the Sims go like bleep, 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 because if you just heard them say like I like soccer like over and over, you'd fucking shoot yourself in the head. You know what I mean? Like it'd be maddening to just hear them talk about aliens in the same three phrases over and over for 10 hours. But yeah, so it like there is something of value in having sandbox games where the emergence of unique situations lets the player sort of be this like like half god and half like witness to the emergence of situations and stuff that have a narrative quality to them. So I do think that like, ethical implications is one conversation, but I do think that like underlying all of this from a consumer perspective, most people just want like cool worlds that simulate things that are interesting to poke and prod and toy with and play within.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where this thing goes. I'm not sure. Has anyone reviewed it or anything? Has there been
probably
early access? I don't know. It's early access. Who knows? I don't even know how you review this thing. Yeah, it's feels like I said, more closer to Flight Sim or BeamNG than anything else. inZOI available now for the not so low price of $40. I guess it's a. I know there's a lot of game here, I guess, so maybe I shouldn't say that. Early access, $40 on Steam. Okay, let's move on from that wonderful world to let's go with Jesse. What have you been playing?
Hard to follow up the conversation regarding systemic games where I just talk about fucking puzzles.
We need it. We need it, man. We need it.
Sure, yeah. Let's bring the mood down or up. I guess I like puzzle games.
Palette cleanser.
Yeah, this is the wasabi of gaming. So, Picross. I have
Ginger's
been playing.
the palette cleanser. Let's get that.
Ginger,
straight.
sorry, thank you. Wasabi's the one that messes you up. I appreciate you clarifying that and correcting it. Picross. I've been playing a lot of puzzle games lately. I have not been playing a lot of real video games because I can't concentrate and I'm having a hard time. It's been a weird couple weeks. It's been very busy and stressed out. But to find time to myself and enjoy my gaming moments, I have finally purchased 4 million Picross games. I mean, no, I downloaded them from my archive to play on my 3DS. It has been a lot of fun. I've really been enjoying Picross games. If you don't know what they are, look it up. It's just like a color by numbers. I would call it like a numbers crossword or like crosswords crossed with Sudoku. It's part of a genre of puzzle games called Nonograms or Nonograms. I don't know how you say that. But it's based on like a Japanese thing. There's a graphic designer who made this like painting using the lights in Windows or like picture using the lights in Windows to make a smiley face. And then that was the basis for these puzzle games that spawned this whole new genre of things. Nintendo made a ton of Picross games. It's just become this big thing. It's huge in Japan. It's called like Paint Logic, I think is what it's called, or Logic Paint.
When you say paint on Windows, do you mean like Windows,
not
the
paint on
operating system,
Windows,
or window like glass windows?
Like glass windows, like on an office building. They didn't
so
paint
like
on the
Post-it?
windows, but turn the lights on, and then at night we're able to make a face using the lights in the windows.
We used to do something like that. Remember the guys used to do Post-it art on the GameSpot office windows, Jeremy?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, big, huge ones. But I didn't realize that's where I came from. That's cool.
Yeah, so I've just been playing a lot of those. It's been a lot of fun. I had never really played them before. I've seen pictures of Picross puzzles, and I was always like, in what universe are you supposed to solve that? How could you? It's just numbers around a grid. How could you? But I played a demo for a game called Squeakross, which is like a mouse Animal Crossing game where you can design your little apartment building or room, and to unlock new pieces, you solve the Picross puzzles. It was a really good tutorial, and I like how it feels. And thank you to someone wrote a comment on YouTube, Lord Liquid Bacon II, shout out.
Jesus.
That recommended checking out a game called Logiart, I don't know how to say words, Grimoire on, it's on Steam. I think it's also on Switch, made by the same studio, Jupiter, who has been making like exclusively Picross games for the last 20 years.
I was about to ask, there must be a bunch of these on Steam. Is there, what was it called?
Logiart Grimoire. It's, it's a Picross game, but then half of it is also solving these very simple word puzzles. Like you solve the Picross puzzle, and then whenever you finish one of them, you usually get a little picture. And this isn't just in Logiart. That's the whole point of it. It's why it's called Picross. The picture that you get, the pixel art picture, is like sometimes it's fire or water. And then you'll get this little wizard guy will be like, hey, why don't you, this puzzle, you have to find something liquid that gets shocked, and you're like, water and lightning, I guess. And then you get a new puzzle. I don't know, whatever. It's silly. But I like it, and it's fun. And I'm enjoying playing these little puzzle games. And now I'm like learning how to play Sudoku and stuff. I'm in my puzzle game bag, dude. I'm having a lot of fun. It turns out I always enjoyed these, and I never should have stopped playing weird little puzzle games. I did want to mention, though, one other Picross game that blew my mind that I didn't realize was a thing. It's called, apologies to all Japanese people as I butcher this, Iraroji Vow, I want to say, developed by From Software on the Nintendo DS.
Is it the hardest Picross game ever?
It kind of is. I haven't played a ton of super hard ones. I think the biggest I've gone is 15 by 15, but that's what this game opens with. So like, if you were playing this for the first time, you were not figuring out how to do a Picross puzzle at all. So it's been fun. You guys know anything about Picross? Have you done any Picross puzzles at all? Or is this just me?
I've ever played one of these. No, Frank, have you?
Yeah, I played them on Nintendo DS. I think it was like Picross DS and Picross 3DS. And then looking at the Wikipedia, there's like 10 alone on just the Nintendo Switch. So it's like, I don't know. I guess they just kept making them. But yeah, they're very, very fun and satisfying. Yeah, holy crap. I like the one that Jesse mentioned, the one that's on Steam, because like I don't know what it is. Maybe I'll play Switch 2 when it comes out, but like to me, Switch is such an old piece of hardware. I never want to touch it. But Jess, you're playing these on like the 3DS. There's something cool about playing it on the 3DS.
I love the 3DS. Yeah. I think I tried playing I've been playing Logiarts on the Steam Deck, so it's a little bit easier. It has a touch screen, which you can use, but you don't really have to. You can play them with just the controller, because it's only like you're not typing anything in. You're just either it's on or off, or you can like make an X to show that there's not supposed to be anything in that spot. So there's a little bit of strategy there, but playing it with a controller is perfectly fine. But every time I'm playing it on the DS, it just feels so much better. That little stylus, tapping it in, it just feels faster. It feels more fluid. I don't know, there's some tactile aspect to it. It's almost like you're playing it on paper, which is, I think, where these spawned originally. So
I was going to say, I can picture Jesse sitting someday at the breakfast table when his like kids are coming down, and like, you know, like the dad in the old cartoon like straightens up the newspaper. It'll be that with you with a 3DS.
Yep.
It would be like, just take your 3DS and snap it.
Kids,
Get really
you completed your Picross for the day.
Yeah. I see a fly somewhere and I just start hitting it with the DS, like, you little bastard. I gotta
Smoking
buy
your
one.
big wooden pipe.
Oh, I would be doing that. That's true. What do you think I'd have in there?
I don't know.
Canada,
Come on.
What are the options?
Sour Patch Kids. I'll smoke some.
Is that the name of a strain of cannabis?
No, straight up Sour Patch
Definitely.
Kids. I'm smoking hard on that.
Damn.
Yeah, that's my experience with Picross. Just a quick little, I'm loving it. Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention that's not Picross, just so I can get it out there, because I didn't play a ton this week. Axyz is this puzzle game. The developer's been really nice and sent it over. Cooler World. Does that ring any bells for anyone?
Oh my god, yeah, I love Cooler World.
All right,
Hell yeah.
This is Cooler World, baby.
What?
It's Vaporwave Cooler World.
What?
It's
Oh my
really,
God.
really fun. It's very disorienting. It's like a grid-based puzzle game where you are a ball on a bunch of grids of 3D squares, and you can like rotate around them, and you're trying to collect all these tapes and other things that are on there. And it's a good little puzzle game. The music's really good. I think it's very it's straightforward, but it becomes more complex over time, and they introduce new puzzle mechanics. I think it's made by one person also, which is based on how it looks and how fun the puzzles are. Is really impressive. So yeah, I shout that one out. It's a really good game.
Is this
I hope this works on Steam Deck. I'm gonna.
It
play
does.
this
That's
on the
all
way
I've
to
been playing it
Sweden.
on.
Oh yes.
Is this like Marble Blast Ultra? Because you look like you're a marble.
Not
you ever played
quite.
Cooler World?
When I saw it for the first time, I thought it was going to be like Super Monkey Ball, but Vaporwave. Unfortunately, not that. But I am happy to say that the puzzles here are really good, and I like playing it. It's very fun.
Frank, you got a little hole in your PlayStation history catalog there.
Yeah, what's
Cooler World is like you're a beach ball, man. Remember a little beach ball rolling around? But it's like it was before they had physics, right? So the ball doesn't roll. It just you just go to the next square basically. But yeah, it was like a platformer. But it was like your camera's orientation is locked to the ball. So when you're going around like shit, there's no gravity is just whatever you're stuck to. So, it's kind of like a navigational puzzle, I guess I'd call it, Jesse. Is that accurate?
That's pretty bang on. Yeah, it's all about just like you see something across from you and you can't quite jump to it. You do have a jump, but it's only 2 squares forward. So sometimes it's best to jump 2 squares back so you only go 1 over the edge and stuff like that. Little strategies that you learn as you're playing it. And yeah, it's like you see something in the distance. How do I get there is the challenge. And wrapping your head around the way the world spins and like the way the camera's oriented. There were times where I bet if you're someone who doesn't handle vertigo very well, you would puke playing this game. It's very disorienting, but it's super, it's very well made. I think there's something like 100 puzzles, it feels like, and then some bonus ones as well. And again, there's challenges. Like you can just get the key, open it up and leave. But I think like Cooler World, there's stuff to collect on each of the levels, and here it's just tapes. Again, the music's really good, looks really good. I love the visuals. It's very silly. It's it's very well made. It's just very fun.
That's cool. It says it's ticking all the same boxes as Cooler World. It sounded like, because Cooler World was just like vibes. Like it was just like doing the puzzles and then sick music, and then the game design was, or the look of it was a big part of it as well. Cooler World, I believe, came out of the Swedish like Amiga demo scene or something.
Cool.
So it's right down my alleyway. So yes, this looks really cool. All right, was it AXYZ?
Yes, sir.
If you Google AXYZ, maybe I typed it wrong. I got a bunch of CNC machines, like CNC cutters
cool.
for like woodwork. So if you're seeing that, you're in the wrong place.
You're in the
That's
right
not
place.
the game.
That's perfect. You got it. Nailed it. One more game quickly I played was Spilled, which is a game on Steam. It's like $5. Let me double check what the price is.
You gotta say it how it's spelled. You gotta say
$5.39.
Spilled.
SPILLED exclamation point.
Spilled.
Exactly. It is a like beautiful little relaxing game, isometric looking, pixel arty, where you control a boat that cleans up kind of oil spills. You got a little area, you got to clean up the trash and the oil, you got to scoop the trash up, you got to do all these little save the animals. The whole thing's about an hour long. It's not particularly long. I completed it in a couple of sittings. I bet it looks good on Steam Deck. I did not play it on Steam Deck, but yeah, it's not the most mechanically complex thing. I enjoyed it. The vibes were fun, and the art was pretty sick. So yeah,
This game is gorgeous. I love this art style so much.
And cool story about the dev. I've been following them for a while. She, I believe, lived on a boat while making the game.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
that rules.
There you go, Jeremy. There's your
Yeah,
fucking
competition.
Spoiler alert, I'm building a boat. I might as well announce it now. No, I wish.
Just do the opposite. Build a dungeon. Build a fucking cave.
I would. I wonder what the zoning requirement on dungeons are.
Yeah.
I have been looking into building wizard towers, and that's a zoning nightmare. So I think going down might be easier at this point.
You should build one of those like old monk towers that has the door like 20 feet up so the Vikings can't get in.
Yeah,
you know?
hell yeah.
You just have a big ladder in there, and that's how
I'm
you
trying
get
to do
in
like
and
a
out.
Voltaire self-exile thing, just like be in a tower
Perfect.
writing shit.
Do a big wheelbarrow. Don Quixote that shit. Wheelbarrow? That's not what I meant. Windmill. Sorry. Wheelbarrow.
Yeah, he fought
Jesus
wheelbarrows.
Christ, exactly. Frank, you've been playing the recent hotness as well, I see.
Yeah, I started playing Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, which there's about 300 Need for Speed games, and I never liked any of them. I remember like as a kid renting like the PlayStation ones, and like I don't know, just didn't do anything for me because I don't know, they seemed pretty straightforward. And then every now and then there'll be a new one I was interested in. I remember like around, I don't know, 2014, 2016, there was a Need for Speed that came out that had FMV with like live action actors. And it's like, yo, man, we got to hit the street. I don't know. Although Need for Speed Underground 1 and 2 are phenomenal, but I played those like a year ago. They're incredible, but I missed out on those in their heyday. But all the Need for Speed games are on EA, Game Pass, Xbox, whatever their partnership is. So they're all available. And I was like asking friends, like, I wanted to play another racing game. I already like finished like Gran Turismo 7 last year. Just like a few months ago, I kind of went through Forza Horizon 5 and I kind of exhausted that. And it's like, I want to play another racing game, but I don't know what. I like stuff that's very arcadey and kind of simple. And I had several friends recommend Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. So the original came out in 2010. A remaster came out in 2020. It's by Criterion. So I think it's the same team that did Burnout Paradise. And yeah, I started playing it, and oh my God, this is just a new Burnout game. Well, new to me, 2010. But oh my God, this game is so good. So Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. The reason I like it, you hit the main menu, hit career. Here's the map. Here's the races. Go. There's no hola, welcome to the festival.
No.
Design your avatar. Do you want to buy some nice jackets for 200 Microsoft? No, let me just race. The thing that's crazy about Need for Speed Hot Pursuit is there's two kind of career trees. There is the racer or there's the police. If you play the police, it's like you're the bad Terminator in Terminator 2, because a mission will start and there's like 5 racers, and then the cop car shows up, and now it's just Burnout where you have to crash out the 5 racers, and it's before they get to the finish line, and it's tiered by like bronze, silver, or gold, and oh my God, it's so fun. You have nitro, there's drifting mechanics. It's like all the races, it's like basically they've recreated like Western America. So it's like California area, Oregon, Washington. So you're driving along coast, you're driving along forest, and it's like very pretty. It's got like a mix of like, I don't know, like rock and roll, like electronic music. The soundtrack's okay, but just the game feel is incredible. It just feels like a Burnout game, and as you keep going, you unlock more cars, faster cars. You can change the colors, whatever. Kind of reminds me of like Cruisin' USA. It's great, and yeah, like there's just so many Need for Speed games that it's like I kind of always ignore anytime people talk about it. But this one is, again, like for what I was looking for, like an arcade game, like. This is perfect. I'm very surprised by it.
Am I remembering correctly? Is this the one where you can like prompt for like spike strips to be thrown out and like another like helicopter to come or some shit?
Yeah, it kind of makes it feel like you're playing like a James Bond game or something where if you're the cop, you can call for like a roadblock. So you'll all right, roadblock's being set up, and then like a mile ahead there'll be like 4 cop cars laid out and then like a very narrow part, and then all the cars will crash into them, and then like you could just crash and smack them off the road. You can call for a helicopter, which I don't know if it like shoots the car in front of you or what. You can call for a helicopter. You can call for an EMP where it just like it like short circuits their engine and they'll just crash. Or you can put down spike strips. If you're a racer, you can also put down. So it's almost like Mario Kart. It's like high tech Mario Kart. I don't know. It's like so silly and incredible, and it's like I don't know. It's kind of fun, like missing the boat on games, and then when they're free on Game Pass, it's like, oh my god, this is amazing. So yeah, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. Like, and I'm also like, we kind of talked about this like a week or two ago, but it's like I'm on the road to 100,000 achievement points, but I don't want to just play like some crap. I'm just like, let me just play games that are generally fun and engaging. So I was kind of openly looking for stuff that was on Xbox that I could play, and Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. I mean, in day one, I got like 9 different achievements. I was like, oh,
nice.
Perfect. Like you finish like 2 missions, and boop, here's an achievement. And it's like, oh, yes.
Are you playing on Game Pass, or are you playing it as part of the EA Play stuff?
So I think it's called like Game Pass Deluxe or something, which is just the highest tier Game Pass, so that includes it. But okay. I think Need for Speed Hot Pursuit is also on PlayStation Premium, or it was a PlayStation Plus game, because I had it on both. And then the thing has like cross-play, so if you have my friend had to manually add me from his PlayStation account. So it does the like Xbox Live leaderboards thing where it shows your friends' times.
Oh, nice.
And it turns out I have several friends who have played this, and so it's always kind of fun just to see that, because you get extra XP if you beat someone's time, and then you can like. I don't know why it was just in the era of when this game came out, but it has like a social wall. So when you beat a mission, you press start, and then it posts on the main menu like, "Oh, I just beat this person's time. Think you can outrun me?"
I love the idea of like people who played this game 12, 13 years ago, and you're like, "Hey, fucker, I fucking blasted your," and they're like, "Dude, I don't even own that game anymore."
Dude, last online
GameStop.
8 years ago, you're sending him a message like, "Is he alive still? I hope so, because he's got to beat my ass in Need for Speed Hot Pursuit."
Yeah,
it's amazing.
It's really great, and apparently, like the one they made after this, Need for Speed. Oh God, this is also confusing. There's Need for Speed Most Wanted, which was an Xbox 360 like launch game.
Yeah.
That apparently was good.
That was my
There's
one. Yeah.
a new one that came out in 2012 called Need for Speed Most Wanted, but apparently that one is also similar. But yeah, like if you're looking, again, I keep saying it's new, but it's new to me. But also that 2020 remaster, it's not too old. But yeah, if you're looking for a new Burnout game, because I really wanted to play like Burnout 3, but it's like I don't want to load up the emulator or whatever. Like it's cool and I like retro achievements, but I need gamer score. So this is it. It's straight up a new Burnout game, and for whatever reason, I never really liked Burnout Paradise. I do not like in racing games where you have to manually drive to the next mission, because that in itself feels like like Forza, you have to do that crap, and I get it, but it's like I'm wasting 5 minutes. I could just do the race, and so I like.
See, but
that.
it worked for Burnout Paradise, because as you were driving around, you saw "Vote for Barack Obama" ads,
Yeah.
so it was
Exactly.
kind of in the end, it was
through it.
worth it. Yeah.
Get some gamer points, exactly.
Yeah. Man, the Need for Speed series is so strange, because it's been handed over to 2 different developers now, I think.
Oh my god, probably more.
Probably more than that, yeah. But the latest ones, Need for Speed, the latest one was Unbound, I think. And the one before that was like Heat. Yeah.
Yeah, Heat had Miami aesthetic, which is all right. Yeah.
They kind of dug back into the cop chase part of it more with these latest games, like especially Unbound. That's the one I played more of. My buddy's played a bunch of Heat, and he was saying it's very similar. But the cops like follow you as you're driving between locations. It has that Burnout Paradise sort of drive from one race to the next. And again, the cops can attack you as you're driving there, which is really, I think it's actually fun. Like, you go really fast in that game. It's really cool. But the visual aesthetic of it is so weird. The Need for Speed series has gone from this like... Unbound, specifically, has a very weird look to it, where all the characters are like this cel-shaded sort of pseudo-anime style to them. It's gone through like the graffiti look. It's gone like hardcore, mid-2000s. Like, Most Wanted is very gray and brown. It's like, that's realistic. So strange. But this latest one, and I talked about it on the meeting on Monday when Frank said what game he's playing. I have to mention this every time Need for Speed comes up. In Need for Speed Unbound, that game was partially partnered with, I don't know, he's a part of the game, ASAP Rocky, who, of course, sold you all his cool cars and had his great music in the game, but also recorded a car horn. So if you spend however much in-game points, you can get a car horn that is ASAP Rocky going beep, 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 beep. It's, man, and that's what gaming is to me, man. We need more silly collabs like that. Put Shrek in the new one. I think that would be awesome.
Oh, my God.
You know what's odd is I feel like hip-hop as a subculture has had this very weird polar like reversal where I feel like 20, maybe I might be wrong, this might be like my subjective where I'm sitting, but I feel like 20 years ago people would be like, oh, a popular rapper said beep beep as the horn in a car in a video game, that's fucking corny as shit. And now it's like, get that bag, Rocky. Like, fucking oh man, he got like 100 bands for being the horn.
It's definitely when hip hop was more of a counterculture thing, I guess, was back then, right? It was, but then also Need for Speed Vendetta, or not Need for Speed, sorry, Def Jam Vendetta and Def Jam Fight for New York were very popular at the time, and that was sort of cheesy in its own regard. It's like Snoop Dogg's gonna beat up the game. What do you mean?
That was their game, though, right?
Yeah, I feel like that game was like counterculture, and also, I don't know. There's something about like being the voice of the horn feels like there's some sort of ontological difference between like that and, you know, like fighting the entire Wu-Tang Clan.
Right.
Those games
Snoop
were
Dogg
like,
and
I mean, everything Snoop Dogg does is just paycheck.
Yeah. He cares about hanging out with Martha Stewart. They're real friends. You show some respect, motherfucker.
Snoop Dogg is the radioactive dye in the culture that through which you can track the normalization of hyper commercialization.
That is a really good point.
You go back far enough, and he's like, "I one time I killed a cop," and you're like, "That's crazy, Snoop Dogg." And now he's like, you know, what if I performed at the inauguration of Donald Trump?
Yeah, I see exactly. Yeah,
it's like, fuck the police, except for when they're paying me, in which case I will make their propaganda for them. Hey,
it's called selling out.
Yeah,
it's
when
okay. A rapper makes it
exactly. It's okay because he gets to make the funny things where he says the drug name is like it's called the Mario Shroom, makes you feel like you're bigger than you actually were. Kids are taking it like crazy. It's
called Banana Sunday. Just like making up fucking names for drugs.
Yeah. It's a Percocet that turns you purple.
It's a yellow Percocet that you make in your bathtub.
These kids are on that Picross.
Yeah, they be doing some Picross, man. They follow the numbers and that leads them to hell.
Exactly. He went off. Yeah, this kid's so high, he's in Cooler World. You know, all the good stuff.
Dude, the whole time you were talking about Cooler World, I thought for like a good full 2 minutes, I thought you were talking about the Brad Pitt Ralph Bakshi movie, Cool World.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that.
I've not seen it either. I just am aware of it.
Yes. Ralph Bakshi.
It's like a Roger Rabbit sort
of
mix of animation.
Roger Rabbit,
like all Ralph Bakshi movies except for Lord of the Rings, it's extremely horny.
Wow, that's great.
I think there is a Super Nintendo port of that.
There is.
Also.
It's all
Cool World.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Has anyone seen the Ralph Bakshi Lord of the Rings? Because I have not, and I need to know if it's horny.
I mean, probably.
I don't think it is. I don't think there's room for that. I don't know. I mean,
Tom Bombadil
would be like
slanging
elves, man?
You know what
yeah. If Bombadil's in it, he'd be the one who's like packing. That's true.
He has that pipe. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Or Gandalf. Maybe there's like a Gandalf is like, to open the door, I have to take my robe down to my waist, and he's like fucking jacked or something. That'd be sick, actually.
He makes the room all steamy. He is a wizard. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
Oh wow. There were I counted up the amount of Need for Speed games. There's 25 of them.
And people give the Assassin's Creed series shit.
Yeah, 30 years old too. So there you go. Need for Speed, Hot Pursuit. There's all the games. Talking about this week: Picross, inZOI, Spilled, Need for Speed, all that good stuff. But I believe we've got some emails, Mr. Howley.
Yeah, if people want to write to us, send us an email to podcast@noclip.video or in our Patreon Discord. From our Discord, we had End of Media write, what is an interest, hobby, job outside of gaming and video production that has helped you most at Noclip? Game developers often talk about how their non-gaming interests are their most valuable when making games. So I'm curious what best helps you when talking about games.
Mine's the most boring, probably.
What is it?
I did various types of programming for most of my teenage years, young college life. So I have dabbled in C# and Java and PHP and stuff like that. So that's probably the thing that's helped me the most, is at least having some foundational understanding of how software works. That sort of that goes back to the start of it. I think that and maybe working at GameStop, honestly. Like I worked at a couple of video game stores or stores that sold games. That probably helped a lot as well. Just kind of getting
probably helped with that.
GameSpot might have also helped.
Maybe a little bit. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that stuff definitely.
Yeah, I was also grew up programming. I've been programming since I was like 12 years old. Everything from HTML website stuff to hardcore C++. I love getting into the weeds. Did assembly in high school. Yeah, I really liked computers and working on them, and I cared about video games on this level that was past how fun are they. I cared like how they worked, how the inner pieces made any sense. So it just gave me this appreciation for how they're made, past again the aesthetic qualities, and thinking like, how does any of this make any sense? How does this work? When growing up, your ideal video game is like Grand Theft Auto, but you can go in all the houses. And I was like, you can't.
inZOI.
That's inZOI. Yeah, you're right. They did it. They made it finally. But I was like, it doesn't make any sense. And I would go to these computer science classes in university when I was in high school, just like as a tour thing. And they were talking about computer vision and how they were rotating, that painting that like it's the lady smile, Mona Lisa. They were rotating the Mona. I couldn't remember one of the most important paintings of all time. They were rotating her face and showing how the computer had figured that out on its own. I remember thinking back then, that's the future. And now I'm in the future and it fucking sucks. But like, but it's okay. Cause at least I kind of understand a little bit of how it works. So that stuff, really made me like the idea that I could work for Noclip or talk to people who make video games or be involved in the inner workings in some way, whether that's showing it to other people or getting to be involved on my own, making my own stuff with other people, is just, it's always been a dream of mine. So I'm glad I get to do this. And I'm glad that I have that same sort of experience that you do, Danny, with understanding how it works.
I think for me, it's probably two things. One is doing a lot of film theory back in the day, especially in film school. I think having media literacy about like whether you're super into literature or film or whatever it is, I think like general media literacy is sort of like a universally applicable thing for just like being able to and it's not the specifics of a medium, but it's being able to like think critically about the pieces and seeing how they fit together and how they affect you as the person experiencing them. And just like understand and know how to discuss and tear things apart and create conversations out of them. And the other one, I think, for more of like, I'm less interested in like the business side of games, but I have sort of like a morbid fascination with it because it's like watching a big expensive train wreck in slow motion. I've having an interest in like Hegel and Marx and Engels and the Frankfurt School of like critical theory and like political theory that is critical of the ways in which capitalism lead to exploitation. I actually think is like one of the, even if you're not, it doesn't matter what, like where on the political spectrum you are. I just think that reading a bunch of people who have thought about the way that, that private capital impacts the arts and society and all these things, I think is legitimately useful for understanding the pressures that exist and how they impact, like why people get fucking laid off and why games are made a certain way and why like big expensive games are the focus. And, I just like thinking about the industry as outside of video games as sort of just like a financial instrument.
What about you, Frank?
It's everything I've done is always about like video production, so it's hard to think of anything outside that. But I think like the only like non like tech or video gamey thing I do is like riding my bicycle. But it's when I'm riding my bike is when I'm thinking like, all right, what games do I want to play? What manga do I want to read? Or like it's like I'm thinking about like what I'm interested in, and then when I come back home, I rush to the computer to download it or play it or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I think like kind of in line with what Jeremy was saying was like with critical theory and all that, like I taught documentary filmmaking, but a lot of that was like finding what was the thing that the student was interested. So it was like, oh, you're super into like I don't know, whatever. Like, honestly, I had a student made a film about hot Cheetos, and I was like, great, let's make a film about hot Cheetos. What's the flavor? How's it compared to Takis? Why don't you like Takis? It's the kind of thing of like, you can ground any subject and find something cool about it. So it's like, oh, I can talk about any game because there's always an interesting story there, or talk to people about anything interesting. Anyone you talk to knows something way more about one subject than you do. So it's like, if that's why there's no hesitancy of like, yeah, let me talk to you. I can pull something out of anything. Because we were just getting students to make films about anything that sparked their imagination or interest. So it's like having that like infinite, that boundless like optimism or excitement. It's like, it's so easy to tap into. I feel like, I don't know. I think that's why like I don't engage with not like any like most stuff on YouTube, because so much of it is just like, this is why this thing sucks. It's like, I don't care. Not interested at all. I don't care. Oh, cool. Here's someone made a video about like, I don't know, mods in World of Warcraft. Cool, great. You're interested about something. That is the thing that I'm stoked on. So
dude, that's why my favorite YouTuber right now is Annie Austin, because he just like has this. He's the guy who did the video about the Skyrim rivers and how they connect.
Oh yeah,
and like power
those
lines.
Are awesome. Yeah,
those are so good because it's this curiosity about how video games work and what is real about them. Taking them seriously, not looking at them as these like silly. How can I make this system smash together? Like that's fun. There's joy in that. But it's this taking it so seriously, so honestly, thinking about the civics of a city in Skyrim and counting up all the civilians and what they do for work is like. That's what I want. I want people to care about video games. I don't care that you're mad that there's like, you know, not enough fucking cool guns in it, or like there's not, where's I want more white guys on the cover. Like just fucking have fun, man. Play your video games. Play Picross.
/I want more white guys on the cover. I'm gonna crucify you for that one, man.
Oh, you know what? It's fine. It's only like 8,000 people.
Great question. We got one more as well.
Yeah, we had Mustafa wrote in, hey, Noclip crew, this question might be toward Jeremy and Jesse. Where do you guys find interesting indie games to play?
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Do you just sift through the endless sea of games on Steam? Is that even possible? I usually play the ones mostly you guys or other game podcasts recommend if it sounds interesting.
You want to take this, Jeremy?
Nice one.
Yeah, I feel like you're better equipped for this, but I'll go first because I feel like you could.
You have the weirder picks. Typically,
I guess so. I feel like I don't know. It's tough because I feel like one of the best places is just to be on like Twitter or Blue Sky and follow a bunch of devs, and yeah, like it's a good place to draw inspiration if you want to make stuff, but it's also just a good place to follow the work of other people. It just takes a monumental effort to curate and block and silence most of the other chatter that goes on in those places, because it is very, very difficult to curate a timeline that is like, you know, not just fear mongering and stuff. Not that it's not important to be informed, but that's not where I get my fucking news, is like on Blue Sky or whatever. So yeah, I just or increasingly like places like Itch. I think you can follow creators and see what they're releasing and stuff. But the drip feed is a little less than on social media sites where people are just posting like, today I made a little mushroom guy and this is what he looks like. So yeah, just like find this is the nugget of this is the end cap. I would find people who you think make interesting things, and I would find them on social media and I would follow them, and then those people will usually signal boost other people who make interesting things. And so be curious about the actual people who make the things that you find interesting.
That's basically it. That's exactly what I do. Is if I play a game that feels so singular or so strange that I know whoever's into this has tastes that I would never express or get into. Like the smartest people you know just like stuff that you would never ever know exists typically. Like they have this level of knowledge that makes them feel so special and different, but it's just because their interests are like this pile that you would have never seen in a different room, in a different building, in a culture you would have never known, right? So I try to follow those people and go like, what are you interested in? What are you down with? You know, I want to learn more about the world, and I want to learn about those interests too, and find my own part of the world that I want to fall into. So by following those developers like Renee Rother, I think is their name, or how you say it. I think that's the person who made Children of the Sun, that like weird sniper bullet game. Like I follow them and they share a ton of really cool stuff. Or, you know, even following Local Thunk, the developer of Bollatro, like they share tons of great stuff. Arco was one they were really signal boosting, which Jeremy and I already knew about. So we're actually cooler than Local Thunk. We don't have to make the card game that everyone bought. So yeah, following people you like, but then also if you want to find like specific resources, I think Dominic Terracin is a really good curator. Casey Explosion is another great one. Following on Blue Sky, I'll drop their links in the description so you know where to find them. Two really great ones that I'm aware of. Is it Space Twink? Is that the name of one of them as well? I'm saying this like I'm not just naming someone who might not exist. But that's another, I think, good curator.
Do you follow No Caps?
No Caps. Yep. That's one of my favorite YouTube channels right now as well. Also, like for video game recommendations, their channel's great.
Great indie stuff.
Yeah, lots of good indie stuff. And like they find a good way to categorize everything. So it's not just like, here's the greatest game ever made. It's like 5 games like Bloodborne, like 5 games like Lego Island. You know, it's not just always big hits. It's always like weird stuff too. So people like that. And then if you want to get really down and dirty on it, man, I'll be honest, I scroll through the entirety of Steam Next Fest every single time. I don't like stop after 300. I go until it stops giving me new games. I have a sickness and it's called scrolling. Like I need to see all of the games. And I like keeping up with what's new, but also like it takes a certain, and I'm not trying to big up myself, a certain amount of mental fortitude to scroll through that and not get exhausted by how many games look like someone had $100 at one point and no longer has $100. It's a frustrating amount of bad games if you do that.
You actually just reminded me too. I think is it IGF? There are some of the like independent games festivals and award shows and all these stuff. Occasionally they will post a list of like all of the submissions. I think it was IGF in 2024. I went through all fucking 1,400 of them. And just like, I'm just curious about like what people are making. Sometimes you see things that are so like bizarre and surreal that you know they'll never percolate to a larger audience. And I think it's cool to search through those and find things that are uniquely interesting to you, because then like, you know, it doesn't matter if you're on a fucking podcast or you just have a Twitter account with 200 people following it or whatever. Like it's a cool thing to seek out very niche things and be a champion for them if they speak to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great question, Mustafa. Thanks for sending it in. And that's a podcast this week, folks. Episode 1 and 2 of our Dwarf Fortress series are live. Episode 3 should probably be live by the time this goes up. It might be on the weekend. We'll have to wait and see. And episode 4 will be available for patrons over on patreon.com/Noclip if you want to watch that once episode 3 is live. March's patron show went up as well on Monday the 31st, so pretty late in the March month. We usually get them up in the first week or so. I'm going to be away next week. Should still be on the podcast. We're recording, I think I've only told patrons and I'll keep it to that. We're recording some stuff in Sweden and we'll be doing hopefully a patron meetup. I think the idea is to do it on Sunday, the 6th in the afternoon in Uppsala, Sweden. So if you are around, check out there should be a patron post about it. Again, by the time this goes up, it'll be patron only, just because the last time we did a public one in Tokyo, 80 people turned up and it was the most stressful night of me and Jeremy's life. It was a great night, but this is the week before we're filming, so we can't do a big crazy one. Unfortunately, loads more stuff in the pipeline. Check out the patron show to learn more about those. I'm looking forward to Sweden. I'm looking forward to chatting to you guys next week. Anyone up to much crazy for the rest of the week? I'm heading off to Sweden. I'm going to I was about to, oh my god, why have I Conor O'Malley. I'm going to Conor O'Malley on Thursday.
I'm so jealous.
He's doing a set in San Francisco, so I'm looking forward to that. That's gonna be by the time this is out, I will have seen Conor O'Malley, so I'll have all the great business ideas for Noclip going into the future. You presumably, Jeremy, you're doing a lot of unpacking.
Yeah, unpacking and I feel like I've spent the last month straight doing packing and unpacking and lifting and learning Azerbaijani phrases. So yeah, just probably do some game dev like for the next few days in a row and just kind of build some momentum back up.
Nice. Excellent. I'm going to finish reading The House of Leaves this week, hopefully, finally. Not just referencing that I am in the middle of reading. It's really good. It's super hard to read, though. It's a pain in the ass book. It's like reading a textbook where the author hates you and the other author hates you and the other author hates you. But it's a really, really fun experience. And I'm getting back into housework. The weather's finally getting better, so I can start fixing up holes and digging roots out from the backyard. There's like 4, I think, tree stumps back there that I have to get one of those tree stump.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah,
How
but
big are they?
I got to break it up, and it's gonna be a lot of wood chips.
Fucking chainsaw. Just do it. Are you gonna get a machine where you can drive and pull them out? Or
I was gonna get a chainsaw, but I've heard a lot of stories, especially with the ground that we have. There's a lot of rocks. I don't want to have the chain snap on the rocks and have to replace it. There's a tree stump. I don't know what the word is, but it's like this little machine that you move with a tiny little axe on it that kind of just like pulverizes it, and then you eventually can just shovel it out. So I'm gonna do that.
Nice one. I did a bunch of those a few weeks ago. Yeah, tough work. Just got to figure out how much do you give a shit about the roots being there. That's your real problem.
Whatever. If it happens, it happens. It's fine.
Excellent. Frank, what about you? What are you doing for the rest of the week?
The Knott's Berry Farm has their annual Boysenberry Festival where it's just a bunch of like food and drinks and stuff like that. So meeting up with a bunch of friends tomorrow. And then in my WCW watch along, I am weeks away from Starrcade 97, Hogan versus Sting, the showdown. This is their highest pay-per-view buy rate. After this, it's just decline. So I'm at the peak. I'm like about to be the peak of WCW, and then I'm gonna see all the wheels fall off. It's so exciting. So yeah.
Where can people watch that?
I've been streaming 5 days a week. WCW. We've been watching it all. Twitch TV/ Frank Howley. So it'll probably take us throughout the rest of the year to finish WCW, and then we might get into TNA or WWF New Generation. But yeah, it's been like. I just started doing this on a whim, and now it's like my life's project is to study WCW. In 2025, I became a WCW historian. But yeah, it's I don't know. It's so fascinating. It's incredible. It's why I have Slim Jims. Is they were marketing Slim Jims Halloween Havoc, their October '97 pay-per-view, and every minute. And don't forget, folks, Slim Jims Halloween Havoc. Yeah, you can't forget Halloween Havoc. And then Tony Schiavone be like, actually, it's Slim Jims Halloween Havoc. Like they and then Macho Man comes out and it's like, ooh yeah, DDP, I'm gonna snap into you. And it's like, this is the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
So good.
I'm not kidding.
Holy
WCW
shit.
is the best thing I've ever seen. It's awesome.
I love how Slim Jim's advertising revenue bucks are still cashing in 28 years later.
Yeah, and it's great because then DDP was like, hey, Macho Man, snap into this, bang! And it's like,
wow.
Oh, they're just using the Slim Jim marketing to like cut promos. And it's like, oh, and at one point, they did a show in Philadelphia, which is like the harshest wrestling crowd because it's where ECW is. And they were giving away free Slim Jims. During a match, everyone started throwing Slim Jims in the ring, and wrestlers are stepping on it. So the wrestling ring is just covered in flattened Slim Jims. And like, no one in the world is watching this except like my group of friends and I. And we're like, how is no one talking about? So thank you for letting me share the Noclip platform to talk about. If people really want to watch it legally, Peacock has it, but someone has also uploaded everything on the Internet Archive, so you don't have to sit through mid-roll ads. So yeah. Anyways,
just the diegetic ads.
Yeah,
just
that's the stuff.
That's history, though.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Now we've gotten to, we're in November 97. So like, and don't forget, folks, on December 2nd, WCW versus NWO World Tour coming out on the Nintendo 64. And I'm like, oh, it's all connected. This was the first wrestling game. And then they even screw up an ad read because they're like, don't forget WCW Nitro on PlayStation at N64. Oh, my apologies. Nitro is for PlayStation. WCW versus NWO is on N64. And they gave kids in the crowd N64 posters, so they're showing it's like, I wish I was there.
That's amazing. Yeah. They're like, wow, that Princess Diana is a lovely lady. She's got a great life ahead of her.
Man. Hope nothing happens to her. Keep her out of the cars.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh, wonderful times. Thanks for sharing, Frank. All right, we'll be back next week. Enjoy your week. Take care, folks. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.